Happy Purim to everyone. Chag Sameach. I hope you're having an awesome day celebrating the beautiful holiday of Purim, which celebrates the victory of the Jewish people over ancient Persia, which is today Iran, when they tried to annihilate the Jewish people, Haman, and God made us victorious. And today we have a new Haman that wants to annihilate us, Khamenei, and the Iranian regime trying to build a nuclear weapon to destroy Israel, which they say clearly. And one of Israel's greatest mistakes it made in the Gaza-Hamas war was that we didn't believe Hamas at what they said. We thought economically we'll give them money, we'll give them comfortable living, and they won't do it. But they told us unequivocally they want to destroy us. And we didn't believe it, even though intelligence told us. We had the right intelligence. All the new reports are telling it to us. But at the same point, we didn't believe it. So now, with Iran, we have to believe it. And we have to know that they want to destroy us. And we have to remember that we have to fight strong and unconditionally, unequivocally. And that just as we won over Iran and Haman and Achashverosh 2,300 years ago, so too will we win now. But this Shabbos is Parshat Ki Tisa. We're going to read in Shul. Today is Purim. Tonight is Shabbos, and we read the portion of Parshat Ki Tisa. What's the connection between the two? So the truth is that in Parshat Ki Tisa, we read one of the most tragic moments for the Jewish people. When after God gave the Jews the Torah, the highest moment for Jews, the epic moment when heaven touched earth, the time when Almighty God gave us the greatest gift ever to be given to this earth. And only a little short while after, 40 days later, the Jews sinned with the golden calf, which is what we read about in this week's Torah portion. But then, one of the things that Moses does, when Moses pleads with God to save the people, God says, I'm going to destroy the Jewish people and I'm going to make you, Moses, into a nation. And Moses says, no, if you destroy them, I'm out. If this is what you're going to do to your people, I'm the leader. I will not let that happen. And Moses pleads with God to forgive the Jewish people. And one of the things that Moses says is, why should you forgive them? We read it on a fast day. We just read it yesterday, and we'll read it again on Shabbat. Ki am kshe oref hu, because the people are stiff-necked. Moses says, because they're stiff-necked, forgive them. And the question, of course, is stiff-necked. Is that a good compliment? That someone's stubborn? That someone's feisty? That someone doesn't give in? Is that good? What was Moses trying to say? And of course, the answer takes us to the Megillah. In the time of the Megillah, the Jews were under such duress. Haman wanted to destroy the entire Jewish people. And Haman was angry that Mordechai refused to bow down to him. Everyone bowed down to Haman, because that's what Achashverosh said. They all bowed down to this evil man and worshipped him. And Mordechai, it says, Lo yichra, v'lo yishtachaveh. Mordechai refused to bow. We bow only to Almighty God. What Moses was telling God was like this. You see, the Jewish people might be stiff-necked. They might be people that make mistakes. They might be stubborn, but that's their greatest strength. Which other nation in the world would stay loyal to Almighty God for 3,500 years through trials and tribulations, through sufferings, through pogroms, through crusades, through Holocaust, through October 7th? Who would stay loyal to God and faithful? Only a stiff-necked nation. So looks Moses and God and says, yes, we might be stiff-necked, Almighty God, but remember that that's our strength, because ultimately that's what's going to lead us to be perseverant and to be committed to Almighty God. So think about this, my friends. That's the story that Moses says, and that's the connection between Ki Tisa and between Purim. You know, I want to tell you something. After 510 days in captivity, Omer Shem Tov, Tal Shoham, and Elia Cohen, and one more hostage were let out. And Omer Shem Tov repeated this remarkable story. You can search it on Google or Twitter. You'll cry when you watch it. He said right before they took them out, they were handcuffed in the darkest tunnel. And the Hamas people told them to put their faces and turn it to the wall. They didn't know what was going to happen. And at that moment, Tal Shoham, or I think Omer Shem Tov, started saying chapter 121 in Psalms. Shir Malot, a song of ascent. Essa Einai El Hardim, I lift my eyes to heaven. Where my salvation come from? Ezri Me'im Hashem, my salvation comes from Almighty God. And suddenly, right after he said that, Elia Cohen started singing the famous song, Shir Malot, Essa Einai El Hardim. And all the hostages, the four of them, after 510 days in darkness, in captivity, in hunger, in starvation, started singing that song. And suddenly at that moment they were let out. And they came out to thousands of Hamas people jeering them and booing them. So much fear and fright, but they looked up to heaven. And they continued singing Shir L'Maylos Esayin El Hardim, because they knew that God was sending them out to salvation with all the challenges that were happening. That's the story, the strength of the Jewish people. That's what Moshe was saying. Ki am kshei orafu, we're stubborn. It's Purim, my friends. And sometimes things look bleak. And there's anti-Semitism, and there's hate, and there's Iran, and there's Hamas. But then there's the strength of the Jewish people. A small little tiny nation that has persevered over 3,300 years. My friends, today's Purim. Take a time to celebrate. You have to wash and have a meal. You have to give a gift to 2 poor people. Or you could send it to Israel. Or you could go onto our website and note that it's for Purim, and we'll send it to Israel for you. You have to send a gift basket to one friend of 2 items of different blessings, either a cake and a cookie or an apple. And you have to have a festive meal. Let's celebrate Purim. Let's celebrate survival of Judaism. Let's celebrate the stubbornness of our people, that stiff-neck that has allowed us to survive for thousands of years. Chag Sameach. Love you all. Happy Purim. Shabbat Shalom.